Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Rotator Conex. I also go by Matthew. If you would like to know how to spell either of those, just check right below this video. We are on Generation 5 title screen that I was talking about in the very first episode that gave me so much trouble. This here is the generated Pokemon. Today we are going to talk about the Pokedex. However, I would like to talk about something in the summary screen that I forgot about in the previous video, which, was perfectly fine because I was recording for 15 minutes. Pressing enter on any page other than the moves page brings up... Oh, what? Huh, weird. Oh, it's because I'm pressing shift, not enter. Pressing enter on any page other than the moves page brings up this menu. This allows you to change things up from the Pokemon summary page and not just the party. You can look at you can change the items, which is perfectly acceptable, and you can view the Pokedex. But you can also mark the Pokemon, not just from the PC. You've got black, you've got light blue, you've got pink. Those are all colors that have been from the official games. Black was in Generations before 7, and pink and light blue are from Generation 7, because now you can mark whether or not the IV comes from the male or the female. You can use black to mark perfect IVs, but then you can also mark red for a IV that is 0. You can mark green for an IV that is 30, and you can mark blue for an IV that is 1. Or you can switch the green and blue. Personally, don't care what you do, obviously. I just give you options. Like, for example, let's look at this. Boom. Mark. That was a perfect IV. There. That's how I would mark her. There, see? Perfect IV. Absolutely 0 IV. Perfect IV, perfect IV, perfect IV, perfect IV. Ta-da! So now, onto the Pokedex, which is where I was going with this. And the reason I felt safe talking about that menu was because you can look at Pokedex entries from the summary screen. Ta-da! Look at the Pokedex. Interesting. I wonder if that has to do with the fact that I default to... I was hovering over the the family Pokedex more recently. Let's look. Pokemon. Summary. Oops. Summary. View Pokedex. Yeah, okay. So the number was affected by which Pokedex you saw more recently. Good to know. But anywho, National Pokedex. I have National Pokedex, which is the official Pokedex entry numbers. But then I have also created this family Pokedex, which orders Pokemon based on their evolutionary family. I put all the grass starters up top. Relic, Darktree, Decidueye. Then all the fire starters. Then all the water starters. And then the Pikachu line, because, well, Pikachu is kind of a starter. Eevee is also kind of starter, and all, but Eevee gets its own little section. Then I start just putting, usually in Pokedex entry order, but make it so that each entry, and Nidoran gets its own little entry, which is why there's one fewer Pokemon in this Pokedex. Cleffa, Clefairy, Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar, Vulpix, Ninetales. Let me see here. Here we go. See, like Bellossom is below Vileplume because it's part of the same evolutionary family. Crobat, because it's part of the same evolutionary family. I also want to get into the search functionality. You've got the name and color. You've got the types, which are, perfectly fine. They're same data that can be found in previous entries, or in previous entries of the Pokedex. You've got the delta types, which are to be expected. And then you got the breeding. This is an interesting mechanic because I've got all of the breeding groups, but then I also have this option here. Compatible with front. This will show you any Pokemon that is compatible with the Pokemon that is at the front of your party. Any Pokemon that can breed with the Pokemon that's at the front of your party. That counts for all of the egg groups in both Pokemon. So I currently have a Gallade at the front of the party, and Gallade is part of the field egg group, I think. So it was just showing Pokemon that's at the field egg group. But if you had like a Pokemon that's in the field and amorphous egg groups, then it would show you any Pokemon that was in the field egg group and any Pokemon that's in the amorphous egg group. I think that's the only new thing that yeah. And then order, numeric mode, A to Z. Those are all things that I left alone. Okay, so now that's the thing. Let me go into the National Pokedex. We have this. It looks very similar to the default Essentials one, but I've changed things. There's the Pokedex number, there's the species name, there's the, I think it's called the epithet. I don't remember. No, it's the Pokemon's kind. Here's the icon, which changes based on what generation the Pokemon is from. Here's the, oh god, what is it called? Here's the character model, frozen. Here's the types. Huh. Do I not? I don't have the delta types coded in. Yeah, I don't have the delta types coded in. Okay, well, it shows you the default types, and then here it's got the delta types just below it with a delta symbol next to them. Here's the species average height, species average weight. Here are the egg groups. You'll notice no eggs and then a mythical, because I've added egg groups to mark a Pokemon as a mythical Pokemon or a legendary. Here's the Pokedex entry. And then we've got the gender ratio up here. How much is male and how much is female. It's just indicated by that. And then you got the egg groups, as I described above. This page I left alone. This page here is entirely new. Here's the base stats, initial friendliness, catch rate, the EV yield. This here is a base stat total indicator, like how much base stat total is compared to the maximum base stat total, which is shared by Mega Mewtwo, Mega Rayquaza, and yeah, just Mega Mewtwo and Mega Rayquaza, I think, share the max possible base stat total. Here is the stats that are the maximum, and then right here you can see a light 80. That is the Pokemon's special stat in Generation 1. Like I said earlier, it's usually the lower of the two between special attack and special defense, but some Pokemon it's the higher of the two. And evolutions are their own little thing. And then you'll also notice for Pokemon that can be in eggs, there's the hatch rate, like how many steps it takes to hatch. Now that's not all that this Pokedex can do. I just pressed right on there, so it does loop, which I think was something that I had to add. I could be wrong. But there are some things that can be added. You can press S, and it shows the shiny form. People make jokes that this looks like Camilla for Fire Emblem. I can kind of see where the jokes come from. But personally, I don't think like this is just legitimately Camilla. But pressing S shows you the shiny. Pressing D shows you the delta. Pressing A shows you the albino, which is something that I haven't spoken about before, but like if the chances of getting a shiny and the chances of getting a delta overlap, then you get an albino. Pressing Z shows you the normal. Let me find a Pokemon that has multiple forms. I might have to just go through this like this. Zygarde. Do I have Zygarde's other forms? Let me look here. Yes. Ta-da. Pressing Q and E. And this also shows you that there are some Pokemon, some Delta Pokemon that are triple typed. Okay, so I don't have a shiny. Do I have a Delta? No, I don't. But yeah. Actually, see, I even have Xerneas's other form. This video has been going on for 11 minutes, and I spoke about everything that I wanted to speak about. So, I will see you in the next video. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to speak about.